definition of disappointment out there as we got in. If one is like you're not very disappointed, and it's like, oh, that was sad. Or 5, it's like, oh, that is so sad, that's very disappointing. What if you were getting up at night and you stubbed your toe at the end of the bed? What is that? 5 for you? What anybody else? Show me how disappointing that is.
What do you think?
Is that pretty sad? 5? 0? Doesn't bother? Where there is no mind, there is no feeling. So you're good to go. So it doesn't disappoint. How about you were promised chocolate cake or your favorite dessert, but they're like all out and all you have left are like beans, Brussels sprouts? That'd be 5. That'd be 5. Okay, how about you are planning Friday night, you're going to have a sleepover with your friends, and something happens and you can't do the sleepover. 5. What's a little disappointment? A paper cut?
Yeah.
Yes.
3,000. No.
3,000.
That's probably
It's like a 3 or a 2.
I think that at 5.
All right. Well, today's story is about like some really major disappointment, like 10 disappointment, where you lose a friend, and they're sad, and they thought somebody could take care of it, but they didn't. But then they do in the end. So then it kind of goes from really major disappointment to all-out celebration. So Pastor's going to tell you a story, and he's going to ask you for some facial, what it looks like when you're disappointed or sad or mad. So be paying attention, okay?
Yes. Well, do you remember what our station is called?
Lifeguard Lagoon.
Lifeguard Lagoon. So, how is a lifeguard kind of like God? Or how
He
is God
protects
kind of
us.
like, put the shoe back on. Protects us. What did you say?
He keeps us from dying.
Keeps us from dying. What else?
He saves us.
Saves us. Does a lifeguard care about people?
No.
Yes.
Yes. So what's today's theme? I
Care about you.
care about you.
I care for you.
I care for you. I care about you.
I care about
I care about you.
I give you what you need, and I will save you. I will answer.
Yes. I care about you. So that's what we're talking about today. And like Mr. Chad said, there's a story about some people who were disappointed with God. They were kind of frustrated because a friend of theirs died. And they thought maybe God would have come and helped out the friend before he died. And so they were pretty disappointed in God, in Jesus. So what do you think it looks like to be disappointed? Because you talked about disappointment. What does it look like on your face when you're disappointed?
You're crying or something. That's like
It's a lot of different emotions going on.
Look, I'd be like,
Okay. So,
Yeah, you guys pretty good looking.
the story
whatever.
talks about how God is like a lifesaver, lifeguard, and how God cares about us. Well, the story is about, well, let me back up a second. Do you remember what yesterday's story was about?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
And you were the king, and somebody else.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
We're going to raise our hand if you want to share what yesterday was about. What yesterday, we're not going to act out today's story.
I am with you.
I'm looking for some people to tell me what yesterday's story was about.
Shadrach.
Anybody raising their hands?
Shadrach. Meshach, and Abednego.
Okay. Those are characters in the story. Does somebody else want to share what the story was about?
The king, he was like really mean to the people, and he always wanted them to bow down to him and nobody else. And his statue. Yeah.
And did they bow down?
No.
No.
How were they saved? When they got thrown in the fiery furnace, an angel came. That was, the angel coming was an example of how God says, I am with you, right? He says, I am with you. And God was with Shadrach and Benny in the fiery furnace. And God said, I am with you. And today God says, I care about you. And that's the promise we're going to look at today. God sometimes does things differently than we expect. Jesus was kind of a king, but not the kind that we normally think about. Like when you think of a king, what do you think about? Somebody who
Wears a crown.
wears a crown, has gold and silver.
Somebody
Jesus.
Somebody who just
He
like
sits on the
doesn't want-
throne.
Yeah, he
with
sits
his,
on the
with
throne.
his big stick.
Like somebody
Alright.
who's selfish and somebody who's lazy.
Selfish and lazy. Jesus was not any of those things. He wasn't selfish or lazy. He didn't have a lot of gold.
He was
Didn't
like the
have any gold.
opposite.
He was sort of the opposite. Jesus is a
He,
different
like,
kind of a
helped
king
us.
and does things a little differently than we expect.
It's
Okay? So, here's what I want us to do is I tell the story. You're going to show me some emotions on your face. Okay?
Oh, yay!
And I'll tell you what they are in just a second. So let's listen carefully. And when I ask you to, I want you to show me on your face what it feels like to feel certain things.
Alright.
I'll tell you what, first of all, can we kind of spread out sort of like a circle? Because I can't quite see everybody. Can you turn and put your back that way? And then you all can kind of make a circle around so I can see everybody. 'Cause I feel like some people are kind of being left out.
Okay, guys, come back here.
Abby, Katie, all right, can Abby, can you back up a little bit and like blend in there? Can you back up a little bit and kind of get everybody in your circle? There we go. There's some faces I couldn't see before. All right. Mary and Martha were sisters. They had a brother named Lazarus. And they were close friends with Jesus. And anytime Jesus came into the town of Bethany, that's where Mary, Martha, and Lazarus lived, they would come over to their house and visit. And Jesus would come over to their house and visit with them. And he'd stay with them, and they'd talk together, eat together, laugh together, tell stories together. And they spent a lot of time together. And they were good friends. So they were always, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, they were always excited when Jesus came over. So what did it look like? What does it look like to be excited? Do I look excited?
This is my excited face. This is my
So
excited
excited.
face.
Here's my
Give me.
Now,
I'm not
excited, you're smiling, you're...
This is my excited face. Seriously, I do this every time I'm excited.
Okay. So, we get excited sometimes, just like Mary and Martha and Lazarus would get excited. Well, there's a change in the story now. Turn in the story. Lazarus, one day, got real sick. He wasn't getting better. He wasn't getting better. Mary and Martha were pretty worried that he might not ever get better. And so they sent a message to Jesus. And they were asking Jesus to come and help Lazarus. So at this point, how did Mary and Martha feel when Lazarus was sick?
Very disappointed. This is my sad face.
What did it look like? What does it look like to be sad and disappointed?
No, this is my sad face.
Maybe they were sad, maybe they were crying a little bit. Lots of different ways to look sad and feel sad.
Look at me spinning that.
One day after he got sick, Lazarus actually died. Real sad. And Mary and Martha, they were so sad. And they were probably also a little bit scared. They weren't sure what was going to happen to them. They would cry a lot. No, that's the appropriate. You have to step out, okay? Thank you. And so, Lazarus was dead. Mary and Martha were very, very sad. And they knew that Lazarus was a real important part of their lives. So things were going to be pretty different. So now at this point, how do you think Mary and Martha felt when Lazarus died?
Very upset. Very disappointed. They're probably like 1,000 on the scale.
1,000 on that scale? Yep. How do you think they felt? What did it look like? Maybe cried a little?
They don't even want to move.
Maybe they cried a little bit?
They
Sometimes,
probably didn't want to move.
Yourself, right?
This is my face. This is my face. Ready?
sometimes people feel sad. Sometimes people have had sometimes like when people's pets die, they feel sad. Dylan, you need to go out for a second? Okay, you need to cooperate, okay? So sometimes they feel really sad and cry. They get really, really sad. So that's kind of what it felt like for Mary and Martha. So what they did next was they took Lazarus' body and they wrapped it in grave clothes and they moved him into a tomb. And many of their friends came together and did kind of like a funeral. And they were all sad and they were all together in Bethany where they lived. They were there to cry together and be with Mary and Martha. Mary and Martha knew that Jesus loved them. And they knew that Jesus had the power to do anything he wanted. So they couldn't understand at all why Jesus hadn't come to help their brother. They were very disappointed. They were very sad and might even been a little bit angry with Jesus. So how did Mary and Martha feel and their friends feel? Can you show me how Mary and Martha and their friends might have felt? Knowing that Jesus could have come and saved them.
What? Huh? Would you be angry?
Mm-hmm.
Where was Jesus?
Yeah.
Come on,
Why
guys.
didn't
Some
you tell
emotion.
them?
Oh, y'all are dramatic. I've seen it. I've seen it. Where's the emotion? Where was Jesus? Come on.
Okay, if you want emotion.
I want
Let's
to
see.
see it.
Oh,
Okay, there's my emotion.
so they probably cried, they were probably sad, and they're also maybe a little angry. Why didn't you come and save him, Jesus? Like they might have said that.
Joy, did you come here?
He could have come, because remember, he came 4 days after Lazarus died. But when he was still sick, that's when Jesus got the message. But Jesus waited 4 whole days before he came. So when Jesus finally came to the village where Mary and Martha lived, Lazarus had already been buried and dead for 4 days. Mary and Martha were weeping, and Lazarus' friends in the town, they were all crying and they were all mourning. We use the word mourning, M-O-U-R-N, mourning. It means they were really sad. And when Jesus came and saw how much they were hurting and how much they were crying, he showed that he cared very deeply for them. And the Bible tells us that Jesus even cried. So how did Jesus feel then?
Very bad. If I'm emotional, then like I'd just be like this, but like tears would be coming down my face, and then I would start to cry. That's what happened when I watched the movie once. But after a little bit, I started like to real cry.
Can you imagine Jesus was always full of joy and happiness?
Oh, okay. She said maybe Jesus was angry with himself because it didn't come. Well, we'll see, because I think Jesus does some stuff here next in the story. So here's what Jesus did next. He actually prayed. He prayed to God. He knew that that God would be able to do something powerful. And so he told Mary and Martha to show him where the tomb was. And you know what Jesus said?
Come forth.
He said, Lazarus, come out, come forth. And out of the tomb came Lazarus.
You couldn't see them.
Jesus told Mary and Martha, if you believe, you will see God's glory. When Jesus said those words, if you believe, you will see God's glory, what do you think they said? Or what do you think they looked like? An expression on their face. Okay,
Good,
maybe
good.
still pretty happy.
Praise
Maybe a
the
little
Lord, hallelujah.
A little scared.
right before Lazarus came out, and right after Jesus said these words, they might have been starting to get a little bit more excited, not sure what God was planning. And then Lazarus came out. Okay, so when Lazarus comes out of the grave, he comes back to life. He was dead, and now he's alive again. How do you think Mary and Martha felt when Jesus raised Lazarus back?
Like super duper excited. Like,
Oh my god.
Very
praise ye
excited.
the Lord, hallelujah, praise ye the Lord.
Yeah, there's a song that goes like that. So how do you think Jesus felt?
Happy, super duper happy.
Jesus happy?
Good. Like 0 on the
How-
good
0 on the disappointed scale.
and 1,000 on the good scale.
1,000 on the good scale.
1,000 on the good scale.
how do you think Jesus felt?
Sad.
Why do you think sad?
Because he maybe thought that the people were still mad at him.
Okay, maybe Jesus thought that the people were still mad at him. That could have gone on in Jesus' mind. How do you think Lazarus felt?
Very.
Yeah.
He was dead. Now he's alive.
He could have felt like weird.
He shocked and startled.
What?
So probably felt weird. Well, there's two different ways that Jesus showed he cared about Lazarus' friend, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. One way was that he felt very moved, and he also felt sad for his friends. So we'll use a big word, he sympathized with them. That means he felt sad along with them. And he was disappointed also. And so the second thing that Jesus did show how he cared was that he did something to help his friends. Jesus showed his amazing power to help even in the worst situations, like when Lazarus died. So, God's promise today is, I care about you. Just like a lifeguard cares about you. Jesus showed how much he cared for his friends by being there with them and by doing what he could do to help. And when we believe God's promise, we will care about others in the same way. So the story is not just about God caring for us, but it's about us also caring for each other. How are we on time?
Good. We got a little time. We could do
Okay,
a little practicing of caring.
Let me do.
Okay.
Well, here, let's since we're kind of a big group, let's split into two, and then our adults can help ask questions about how we can help care for each other. Is that okay?
We could get into two circles. One over here. One over there. One over here. Get in a circle.
Dylan, you can come to our room. Over here.
I want to go.
There's 13.
Right over here. Right here. Circle right here. Get in a circle. Face each other. Alright. And what we're going to do is go around in your circle. And like lifeguards. Hey everybody. Like lifeguards, you have to practice your skills to be a good lifeguard. Everybody listening? I'm going to tell you what you need to do next. Alright, you have to practice your skills of what you're going to do, how you're going to help people. So in your circle, I want everybody to sit in a circle, and you're going to turn to each person and say, I care about you, and God cares about you. But we'll keep it real easy first. You can do it like Mickey Mouse maybe at first, and we're going to do kind of silly, and then at last, we'll do it right. Okay? So let's get in a circle. You're in a circle.
We have to say it to every
Are you going to be
person.
in this
You have to
circle?
go around this stage of the park.
Who goes first? You.
Can you back up a little bit?
I'm gonna be left.
Wait,
so
Alright,
let's
back up.
get top hill.
Okay.
We're going to go around.
No, we have to
Okay.
say.
Sit in a circle.
What mouse tell me about you?
Alright. So we're going to go around this
Oh, we
way.
have to do Mickey Mouse.
You can do it like Mickey Mouse, but